Yeah. All right, Pak Dr. John Han and Ibu Elis, also Cindy, and also some students. Once again, welcome to the online seminar of Cindy Yap's proposal. Now let us give around 10 minutes to Cindy to present the summary of her proposal. After that, all of us can take turn asking questions or giving comments on information uh, in the proposal. Okay, now Cindy, time is yours.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for the time given to me. Thank you to my first and second supervisor, Mr. John Han and Mrs. Elizabeth, who have guided and helped me in my research proposal writing from the beginning until now. And also thank you to Mr. Soliman Dapataka for being here as my examiner. I'm Cindy Yap, and today on March 19, 2021, I'm going to present my research proposal under the title and analysis of the use of elliptical sentences by the second semester students of English Department of Nusa Cendana University. Well, chapter 1 is the introduction, and I will explain briefly about the background of this study. Well, learning English involves for basic skills and learning a language means to use the language in communication with others, both in oral and in written forms. Learning English involves for basic skills and knowledge of vocabulary and sentence structure. We know that learning English grammar is not easy for all students. Many students who study English often have problems in constructing sentences with good grammar. If students want to communicate properly and effectively, they have to possess adequate knowledge of vocabulary and sentence structure and the essential aspects of English grammar, because in learning English, these aspects cannot be separated. And one specific aspect of English grammar that has to be learned by English learners, especially by the second semester students of English department, is elliptical sentences. Elliptical sentences is a sentence that is a shortening of two or more sentences, and by eliminating some parts of the sentence that have the same meaning from the statement of Richards in 2010. However, in my preliminary interview of some second semester students of English department, I found some evidence that many of them still have problems with elliptical sentences. Some students say that they have learned about elliptical sentences since they are in senior high school and they can use it well. Some say that they still confused in using it, and some say that it is a new thing. In this case, they haven't learned about it at all. And I conclude that it is a big problem because elliptical sentence is just one specific aspect of English grammar. And as English department students, it is really important to know and understand every aspect of English sentence structure. That is why I decided to conduct a research under this title, an analysis of the use of elliptical sentences by the second semester students of English department, Nusa Cendana University. And the next is the research problems. I have three research problems here. The first one is how grammatical is the use of elliptical sentences by the second semester students of the English department, Nusa Cendana University. The second is what are the weaknesses and strengths in the use of elliptical sentences by the second semester students of the English department, Nusa Cendana University. And the third is what difficulties are faced by the second semester students of the English department in Sriwijaya University in the use of elliptical sentences. And based on these three research problems, the objectives or the aims of this study is to know how grammatical is the use of elliptical sentences, to know the weaknesses and the strengths, and also to figure out what difficulties are faced by the second semester students of the English department of Nusa Cendana University. There are some benefits in doing this research. The first one is for lecturers and teachers. It is expected that this research can provide information about students' competence in using elliptical sentences. The information given can be used as an alternative material in or it can help teacher or lecturer to figure out what problems or what difficulties are faced by the students in learning elliptical sentence so that teacher or lecturers can provide another way of teaching. And the next is for English learners. It is expected that this research can be used as learning resources to increase students' comprehension in using elliptical sentences. And the next is for other readers. It can be used as an additional knowledge to be practiced in daily conversation. And for other researchers, it can be used as an additional material and become a provocation to produce another study related to English grammar. And the next, the scope of writing. So this research stresses on the subject and object investigated. The subject of this study is the second semester students of English department, and the object of this study is the use of elliptical sentences. To avoid misunderstanding, I have provided some definitions related to this research. The first one is the definition of analysis. According to Wiradi on 2009, analysis is an activity that includes the activity of sorting, breaking down, differentiating things to be classified and grouped according to certain criteria, and then looking for their significance. And second, the definition of according to Oxford English Dictionary, it is the action of using something or the state of being used for a purpose. And the third is the definition of elliptical sentence. According to Further Ibrahim, it is a way to omit a sentence of words needed to complete and simple the construction or meaning. And the definition of students, according to Hornby, student is a person, usually over the age of 16, who is studying at a university or in college. The next is the organization of writing. This research proposal is organized into 3 chapters. The first chapter is the introduction. It consists of 7 sub-chapters. The first one is the background, and then the research problems, the aim, benefits, and the scope of writing and definition. In chapter 2, it is a review of related literature, and in chapter 3 is the research design, and it consists of 4 sub-chapters. The first one is the research method, and then data resources, the technique of data collection, and the technique of data analysis. Now we come to the second chapter. It is the review of related literature. I will begin with the explanation about sentence structure because elliptical sentence is a part of sentence structure. I use the theory from Oshima in 2007. He states that the sentence is a group of words that contain at least one subject and one verb and expresses a complete thought. These statements is also supported by the statement of Heaton in 2007. There are two kinds of sentences based on the structure. The first one is simple sentences. The second is complex sentences. Complex sentence consists of coordinating and subordinating complex sentence, according to Dadwin on 2010. The next is the definition of elliptical sentence. According to Richard on 2010, elliptical is the leaving out of words or phrases from sentences where they are unnecessary because they have already been referred to or mentioned. And according to McCarthy on 2008, the function of elliptical construction is to deliver a statement in simple construction. The next is the use of elliptical sentences. It is noticeable that elliptical sentences are used quite common in some contexts, as in normal conversation, in comparison, in sentence joined by coordinating conjunction, in some dependent clause, and introduced clauses. There are three types of elliptical sentences. The first one is positive elliptical construction. It is marked by the use of to and so. It is a process of combining two positive sentences that have the same verb, object, and complement, based on Andrew on 2008. The second is negative elliptical construction. It is marked by the use of either and neither. It is a process of combining two negative sentences that have the same verb, object, and complement. And the third is contrary elliptical construction. It is marked by the use of but. It is a process of combining two contrary sentences. Now we come to the third chapter. This chapter presents the description of the research method, data resources, the technique of data collection, and the technique of data analysis. The research method of this study is the descriptive qualitative method. Why did I choose this? Why did I choose qualitative method? It is because qualitative research seeks to describe and explain social phenomena. It involves the careful collection and analysis of comprehensive data of the day-to-day activities, problems, and issues. It is a statement from Denzil and Lincoln in 2013. Beside it, Creswell on 2013 also states that the process of qualitative research involves emerging questions and procedures, collecting the data from the participants, settings, analyzing the data inductively from particular to general theme, and making interpretation of the meaning of the data. And I found it really appropriate with my title and can give answer to my research problems. And the next is the data resources. The data of this research will be taken from the second semester students of English Department, Nusa Cendana University. In doing the research, I will take of them to do the test. And the next is the technique of data collection. The data were collected by giving a test to the students. In doing this research, the diagnostic tests were used to obtain the data. According to your article library on 2020, diagnostic test is a test used to diagnose strengths and weaknesses of the learning in certain areas of study. The researcher collected data through some steps. The first, the researcher prepares the instrument for the research. In this case, an objective test consists of 15 questions. The second, the test was given using Google Form and then distributed to all students. And after students finish the test, all the data will be collected in Google Form and then the data will be analyzed. And the last one is the technique of data analysis. After collecting the data, the writer will count each mistake made by the students to know the highest frequency of students' mistakes. The writer will analyze the students' answers by identifying types of elliptical sentences. After that, the writer will identify and classify the correct and incorrect of every type of elliptical sentences. And then the writer will identify the strengths and the weaknesses of each student in the use of elliptical sentences, and then find out the difficulties faced by the second semester students of English department in their use of elliptical sentences. I think that's all from me, and thank you so much.
Okay, Cindy, thank you for doing the presentation of your proposal summary. Pak John is already there with us, Ibu Elis as well. Okay, so I was I was assigned to be moderator, so I think my job is only to distribute the task or managing the activity of presentation and discussion. So anyone would like to ask question to Cindy or maybe give comments on the basis of the presentation, the summary that Cindy just presented. Remember that this is a proposal. Proposal means proposing or planning research writtenly. That's why she presented the summary in written form, and also she read it to us. Therefore, as a proposal, I think maybe there are some or maybe parts, places or parts where we need to give comments on, or maybe additional suggestion in order to make it complete, to make it a good proposal. We are not examining, kita tidak menguji, I think, but we are given chance to give inputs, comments, or suggestions to Cindy. But first of all, my impression is that this writing, I read the proposal, the file Cindy sent me last night or yesterday. It was very good. It was really written very well written, very well written. Also, the oral communication competence of Cindy is very good. Okay? A very clear language, very good grammar. As one of the grammar lecturers, I think I'm also proud that Cindy is very good in English grammar. Next, my first comment on your, let me share the proposal. Cindy, can you stop sharing? Yeah, only some comments. Yeah, as the second comment is that, so not this one. Oh, okay, sorry, not this one. Let me find. Maybe this one. Okay, this. This one, okay. Introduction is good, I think, but only about the statement of problem, I think, and also aims the way you write the first one. For example, how grammatical is the use of elliptical sentences by the second semester students. First comment is that you don't need this one. Second semesters, why do you have it there? The second one is, this is quite a new way of writing this. How grammatical is it? Perhaps what you would like to say here is how correct or how good are the sentences made by the students. But then you say how grammatical. So in this case, actually, you would like to find out uh, the ability of the students in writing good or correct English elliptical sentences. Is it correct, Cindy?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I go on to the aim and so on, let us check how you will describe this in chapter 4 later on in your plan. In your plan, so you mentioned the steps of doing the analysis in chapter 3, but
Yeah.
as you have how grammatical, I would like to remind you that you are going to check whether they are uh, good, they are grammatical enough, or they are in good grammar or grammatical. So can you explain how you will do the checking of how grammatical is it? You are going to collect the data, but then you will do the analysis, and in order to answer this question, what will you do? How grammatical? Please mention the steps again.
Okay.
When you get the data through Google Form, and then
After I get the data from a test by in Google Form, I will analyze the data
okay,
by the first one is by identifying uh, types of elliptical sentences, and after that, I will identify and classify the correct and the incorrect of every type of elliptical sentences,
mm,
and then I will identify the strengths and the weaknesses, and
mm.
also to find out the difficulties.
Why do you call them weaknesses and strength?
I mean, in what
Why don't
part?
you just say? Why don't you just say wrong, right, or correct, or wrong sentences? If they are wrong, then they are wrong, and if they are correct, then why don't you call them wrong sentences? Is there any special reason?
Uh, I mean, when they do the test,
Mm,
in what type of elliptical sentence they are good at. So it will
mm.
be the part where it is their strength,
Oh,
and
okay.
and the part that they are not good at, it is their weaknesses in
How
using
will you
elliptical.
measure? How will you measure whether they are strong or they are weak?
By
Using number, using counting numbers?
no, sir.
No.
I will analyze based on their answer on the test I will give.
Okay.
Um, and then I will identifying every type of elliptical sentence in every number of question that I will make, and then I can conclude uh,
Mm.
example, they make mistake in the use of either and in neither, and it is the, I mean the most of them do make mistake in the use of neither and either, and it is the part where they are not good at, and it is their weaknesses. And I will conclude by the test that I will give.
So once again, you call the students who are not very good, in this case, having quite many mistakes, as weak. If they have so many mistakes, then you call them weak.
No, I will not call them weak, but
Yeah, weakness.
it is,
Yeah. Mhm.
it is, but it is.
Oh, you count the number. How many? Say, for example, if more than 60% mistakes of the all questions, then you call them, oh, they have weakness, or that is the weakness of the students. Then if only 40% or maybe 30%, then they having strength.
Yes,
Is it like that?
I think so.
Yeah, because you use the terms weakness and strength.
Yes, and strength.
When I saw the two terms, I thought you would be going to count how frequent the students use elliptical sentences. Or these students is frequent enough in using elliptical sentences, then oh, I call him very good and having strength. But some other students only use elliptical. They avoid using elliptical sentences. Then oh, they are weak or having weakness. But what you actually mean from your explanation is the mistakes. So why don't you just call them mistakes? How many mistakes, or right or wrong answers? So you will keep using the terms weaknesses and strength. So in your analysis in chapter 4, please make it clear, okay? Because you are using different terms when you talk about mistakes or wrong answers as weakness and strength. But question number 3, you also have difficulties. Okay, but difficulties here are also related to the weaknesses of the students or their low ability in comprehending or in mastering the elliptical constructions. So when will you say that, okay, this is the difficulty of the students? How will you collect the data about difficulties of the students?
After I count each mistake made by the students
Okay.
in doing the test.
Okay. Then you identify or you determine, yes, okay, this is the difficulty of the student.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
When you say difficulties, you are actually talking about the grammatical specific grammatical items actually. Or what kind of difficulties do you mean? What are the ones that you call difficulties? Difficulties are the same as not being able to answer or to answer questions correctly when you give them test, or what
Yes,
kind
sir.
of things? Yang apa yang kamu maksud dengan kesulitan? Kelihatannya yang ini kan proposal ini, kelihatannya yang kamu maksud ini yang iya-iya saja, itu kamu menyamakan antara difficulties dengan mistakes yang dibuat oleh mahasiswa itu. Padahal kan difficulties itu harus lebih luas dari itu. Difficulties bisa menjadi penyebab kesalahan dalam menjawab pertanyaan. Sehingga what I understand is difficulties should be broader than just mistakes made by the student. Could be reasons, could be causes why they cannot answer the questions, or why cannot they create or construct good elliptical construction. Seperti itu. Kalau hanya menyamakan antara difficulties dengan mistakes, maka pertanyaan kedua dan tiga ini saya anggap sama. Ini kan hanya membuka wawasannya Cindy supaya ini bagus sekali. Yang kamu buat ini sudah bagus. Saya hanya takutnya kamu hanya menyamakan antara nomor 2 dan nomor 3 itu. Maksudnya. Karena kalau sudah seperti itu maka tak perlu ada 3 harusnya.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you
What
so
will
much
you
for
say?
your suggestion.
Okay.
I will revise it later with my supervisor.
Bukan revise, tetapi bagaimana mengingat supaya nanti kamu membuatnya, menganalisis itu, menjawab pertanyaan. When you answer these questions, so that you remember that if you write them separately or differently, then you also have to answer them differently or separately, that they are different, that they are talking about different things. Begitu, itu maksud saya. Bagus.
Okay,
Itu saya I don't want to, I am not saying that you have to revise, but I just remind you. That's why I try to ask you what you actually mean by weaknesses, strength, and then mistakes, and then difficulties. Karena misalnya yang antara weakness, mistakes, dan difficulties itu mirip-mirip. Nanti menjelaskannya di bab 4 itu bisa, kalau tidak selalu ingat bahwa itu mereka beda, bisa fokusnya nanti lari. Nanti kamu jadi tidak fokus waktu menjelaskannya gitu. Jadi menganggap atau menggunakan 3 istilah ini secara interchangeably itu akan bingung sendiri nanti. Dan kemungkinan saya yang nanti juga menguji nanti. Ini kali saya jadi moderator, tetapi bisa saja saya menguji, saya akan cek lagi yang ini. Saya akan cek.
Baik, Pak.
Jangan sampai kamu tidak menjelaskannya dengan baik di bab 4, yang akhirnya kamu menggunakan secara bergantian antara mistake, difficulties, dan weakness. Padahal itu yang ada dalam pikiran kamu mungkin, atau nanti saran dari dosen pembimbing, bahwa 3 hal itu beda. Mana yang menimbulkan yang ini, mana yang menyebabkan apa, atau mana yang hanya levelnya seberapa, mana yang dianggap lebih luas, seperti itu, mana yang menjadi dampak dari satunya, nah, itu. Karena ini bagus, tapi waktu penjelasan kamu, itu kamu seolah-olah menganggap ini sama saja, mirip-mirip saja. Difficulties, weakness, dan difficulties, mistake. Ya, ada mistake kan. Mistake itu waktu mereka jawab pertanyaan yang ada di Google Form itu, they have to answer questions. Iya kan? Mereka harus menjawab. Jadi itu objective test ya yang direncanakan.
Iya, Pak.
Objective test. So you make sentences, questions, and then with answers, some options, and then students answer them.
Yes.
Okay. So how many questions are you going to give them?
15 questions.
15 questions. Oke. Cukup kah itu 15-nya?
I think that's enough.
Oh, oke. Ya, terlalu sedikit. Apa kalau orang itu satu buku mereka analisis. Ini hanya 15 pertanyaan ya. Oke. Terus oh ya 15 pertanyaan. Iya ya. Ada tadi yang saya mau tanya itu tentang pertanyaan yang 15 itu.
Apa
Oh ya.
pertimbangannya? Tinggal 15 saja.
Ya, terus sudah kasih tunjuk dosen pembimbing atau menurut siapa? Pertanyaan itu siapa yang buat? Who made the question? Who composed the instrument of data collection?
Belum ditunjukkan ke dosen pembimbing, Pak.
Okay. Jadi remember that they have to be verified by authorities, by pihak-pihak yang berwenang, begitu. Not only created by yourself, ya harus diverifikasi oleh dosen pembimbing, sudah disetujui. Oke, begitu. Ini jam berapa sekarang ya?
Baik, Pak.
Jam 3. Jam 1, 2, 3. Oh, jam 3 ya. Sudah mulai lagi dengan yang ketiga ini. Waduh. Oke, itu ini. Oh ya, my comment. The next comment is, please give introductory sentences here. Okay? Don't just start research problems 1, 2, 3. Okay? Harus ada sama dengan ini. Harus ada ini juga sama. Tidak bisa aims 1, 2, 3 begitu. Harus ada kata pengantar lah, kalimat pengantar. Sama dengan ini kan. Ini kamu punya ini. Kok ini langsung A B C 1 2 3.
Oh iya, Pak.
Jadi harus ada scope of writing, okay, definition of terms. Ya sekarang ini kamu tidak konsisten ya menggunakan ini first person singular dengan third person. Di tempat lain kamu bilang the writer, terus di sini kamu bilang I provide. Itu harus konsisten.
Ya, Pak.
Oke. Organization of writing. There's another one over there. My question is why bigger font size? Itu hal-hal teknis sama dengan ini juga. Kenapa dia kalau dia hanya itu, kenapa dia harus beda font size? Ya, tidak harus dibedakan. Karena dia sebenarnya bukan kalau memang dia itu seperti ini subtopik, ya bikin dia nomor toh. Jangan dibikin bullet point seperti ini. Terus dia punya size-nya jadi 16. Ya. Padahal dia tidak jelas. Dia ini bullet point ke berapa, ini kan tidak jelas. Sebaiknya jangan menggunakan bullet point seperti ini. Harus 1 2 3 sehingga orang tahu ini ke berapa, ini ke berapa, ini ke berapa. Kalau banyak sekali 2 3 halaman, orang bingung, ini orang harus hitung. Pembaca harus hitung ya kalau dia tanya, "Oh, itu ya nomor berapa ya? Sabar saya hitung ya. You have I have a comment on yang ke berapa ya? 7th or maybe 8th or bullet number 8." Jadi harus kasih nomor ya. Ini
baik, Pak.
Penomorannya. Next is ini seperti ini. The following chart lists some commonly used adverb transitions. Harus ada nomor tabel. Nama tabelnya apa? Harus kasih nama tabel. nomor tabel keberapa, tabel 1 atau tabel 2, tabel berapa, terus dikasih namanya apa, tabel apa. Ini ulang kembali di sini. Ya, ini kan introduction
Ya.
saja, tapi namanya apa. Terus ini siapa yang buat, ini ambil dari mana.
Ya, Pak.
Ya, terus ini kenapa kalau dia judul di tengah ini ya ditaruh di tengah lah. Oke. Terus mana ya? Yang taruh dia di tengah. Oke, saya kembalikan dulu nanti Anda buat. Terus ini juga sama. Ini harus rapi kerjanya.
Ya, Pak.
Rapi. Ini harus ditengahkan ini. Oke, kan saya sudah ajar waktu itu komputer ya.
Ya,
Oke.
Pak.
Terus tabel seperti ini kita adopt dari mana? Kita ambil idenya dari mana? Harus sebutkan di bawah. Anda adaptasi dari mana? Itu disebutkan di sini. Jangan biarkan sedikit pun celah di mana Anda mengambil ide tanpa menyebutkan referensinya. Jadi
Ya, Pak.
sebutkan referensi. Walaupun sekedar ide saja, sekedar ide. Oh ya, dia bikin dia pengelompokan ini ya. Tinggal bilang adapted from apa? Dari mana? Sudah diadaptasi, dilakukan adaptasi, penyesuaian. Mungkin dia punya tabel itu tidak ada ini. Oh, ini tidak ada. Tapi dari ide itu, Cindy bisa buat tabel seperti ini, maka harus sebutkan sumbernya. Dan nama.
Baik, Pak.
Table number and table name. Dan reference. Itu contoh saja, nanti yang lain Cindy lihat kembali.
Ya, Pak.
Ya, kadang-kadang mahasiswa itu membiarkan space seperti ini yang tidak penting. Ini too much space. Itu technical seperti itu. Komentar saya mungkin cuma itu saja. Data resource, oke. Ini referensi itu dibikin satu. Ini dia satu saja. Antara ini satu.
Ya, Pak.
Oh, ya, oke. Ini kan kelihatan dia space-nya banyak. Oke, itu dari saya. Thank you. Maybe students before Pak John and Ibu Elis, maybe students would like to also give comments or suggestions to Cindy. Please. Also some students, yeah, joining the seminar. Ada Realina, ada Rosina, ada Lis Daniati, ada Mia Ulu, ada Asmiati Parenje, ada Irene Mehakati. Okay, please, students, guys, do you have any comment? If you happen to follow the presentation, okay, this is the title, analysis of the use of elliptical sentences by the second semester students. Ya, yang ini nih saya tidak tahu apakah penting ya, apakah ada konstruksi seperti itu ya. Second semester students saja sebenarnya. Terus ini cara the way you write ini terbalik dan juga ada spasi, tidak penting, harus dia mepet dan dia harus menutup ke sana, bukan membuka.
Ya, Pak.
Dia menutup, bukan buka. Terus ini juga dibikin khusus yang ini dibikin satu baris. Tidak boleh ada ini boleh dia jarak, tapi ini cukup satu baris. Jarak antara ini semua. Tidak boleh jarak begitu. Dia boleh di bawah, boleh ada space di sini, tapi antara ini cukup satu baris. Satu ya, line spacing. Oke, ada pertanyaan sebelum saya kembalikan atau memberi kesempatan kepada Pak ini pembimbing 1 dan 2. Tidak ada, oke. Pak John, please. Any comment, suggestion, or question, Pak?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, Pak. Pak Soleh. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Cindy,
Ya, Pak.
did you note down comments and input from Pak Soleh?
Yes.
Okay.
Sudah, Pak.
Make sure to note down all things. They are all very important.
Ya, Pak.
It should have been good. It should have been correct, but they are all messed up. They need to be pay attention to make them proper. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And also some key ideas, key information from Pak Soleh that you have to. But things to do with the questions, research questions and the aims. What should I say? How come you didn't understand what you yourself wrote down? Malah kadang-kadang you jawab, ya begitulah Pak. Ini apa ini jawaban seperti itu, seolah-olah you tidak mengerti. Khususnya menyangkut rumusan masalah dan tujuan itu esensi sangat penting yang tadi diangkat oleh Pak Soleh. You have to understand what is meant by grammatical, what is then weakness, what is difficulties. Ini kunci penting. Jadi ingat, perhatikan, nanti setelah itu saya cek lagi, Yusuf mengerti, paham betul-betul tidak, karena ya seperti yang disinggung Pak Soleh. Di bab 4 itu dia harus bisa membedakan 3 hal ini dengan baik. Jawaban untuk pertanyaan 1 atau untuk tujuan 1 harus berbeda dengan yang kedua punya dan yang ketiga punya. Jangan sampai malah sama tapi dianggap beda. Okay, so the key issues Pak Soleh raised is grammatical. What is it? What do you mean? And then weakness, strength. What are they? And then difficulties. Are they the same? They are different. What are the difference? To explain, you have to have that knowledge in your brain because that's what you are doing. That's the key issue. Okay, Cindy.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Dan hal-hal yang tadi menyangkut spacing juga, you kasih tinggal terbengkalai hari babiruk semua.
Apa?
Dari judulnya sampai kasih spasi di kalimat-kalimat antar judul itu untuk apa? Sampai dengan di bibliografi, reference itu 1 spasi. Oke, yang penting adalah saya dengar tadi yang disampaikan oleh Pak Soleh itu semuanya sangat penting, baik yang hal-hal teknis ataupun yang menyangkut isi. Itu semua yang disampaikan Pak Soleh itu sangat penting dan ya saya berterima kasih, sangat terima kasih untuk Pak Soleh. Tinggal yang penting adalah you catat supaya nanti setelah bertemu pembimbing baik saya maupun Pak Soleh itu hal-hal yang tadi diangkat Pak
Ibu Elis ya. Ini pembimbing keduanya Ibu Elis ya.
Ibu Elis.
Ya, Ibu Elis.
Ketemu saya pembimbing 1 dengan Ibu Elis sebagai pembimbing 2 ya kita, karena saya tukang lupa. Tadi saya perhatikan dengar semua yang disampaikan Pak Soleh dan barang semuanya penting, hanya saya sudah tukang lupa jadi. Penting adalah tadi mengaku sudah catat semua. Oh, nanti saya lihat.
Ya, Pak. Sudah dicatat.
Okay, that's all from me, Pak Soleh.
Yes, thank you Pak Prof. John Han, Dr. John Han. Ibu Elis, please.
Okay, thank you, Bapak Man, Pak John. I'd like to add several things. Yang pertama, Cindy.
Ya, Ibu.
Yang pertama itu memang betul research problems-nya itu yang nomor 1, 2, dan 3 itu I think we need to discuss it more. Nanti ketemu Pak John Haan dan juga Ibu setelah itu. Kemudian Ibu juga baca masih ada problems di tenses yang digunakan. Oke, jadi tidak konsisten kadang-kadang. Will-nya itu bentuknya masih salah kayak gitu. Jadi nanti harus diperbaiki lagi. And then masalah numbering tadi itu agak sedikit messy di sini dan di sana, jadi harus diperbaiki lagi. And then untuk data resources-nya juga, Cindy, di sini Cindy said that you will do the research in 6 classes, ada 6 kelas anak semester 2 yang mana ada 200 orang. Jadi I think you should ketemu Pak atau tanyakan saja pada Pak Yusuf berapa banyak pastinya anak semester 2 itu untuk jumlah populasinya. Jadi I think you need to be more detail on your data resource, populasinya berapa, kemudian sampel yang mau digunakan itu berapa. Karena tidak mungkin kamu akan menggunakan 200-an orang ini sebagai untuk mengambil datanya, karena itu kamu akan gila 200-an orang ini. Nah, kemudian kamu cari tahu dulu teorinya, bagaimana cara apa itu populasi, apa itu sampel, bagaimana cara mengambil sampel gitu. Karena Ibu lihat di proposal kamu itu tidak ada. Kemarin Ibu hanya fokus di grammarnya dan Ibu lupa lihat kontennya sedikit. Kemudian masalah tes yang digunakan untuk mengambil data itu, I think 15 nomor itu juga mungkin tidak cukup. Dan kalau di ABCD mereka akan cenderung untuk pick whatever they want gitu, terserah mau salah atau tidak. Jadi takutnya data yang didapatnya juga mungkin tidak terlalu valid atau bagaimana. Dan Ibu ada mungkin menyarankan untuk mungkin buat satu apa itu semacam seperti paragraf kayak gitu, kemudian dihilangkan dia punya elliptical word-nya itu, kemudian kamu provide dia punya kata-kata, dia punya elliptical words, and then mereka boleh pilih terserah kayak gitu. Dari situ mungkin kamu bisa lihat mereka punya kesalahan, mereka menggunakan apa di konteks yang mana dan akhirnya salah atau benar kayak gitu. Nah, nanti kita lihat bagaimana itu, nanti itu hanya saran saja. And then masalah untuk yang difficulties, kalau kamu mau cari difficulties faced by the second semester student, mungkin kamu bisa lihat setelah kamu kasih mereka tes, mungkin kamu bisa lihat yang paling terendah itu mereka punya hasil yang paling terendah itu, kamu bisa mungkin interview mereka kalau kamu mau, atau mungkin kamu bisa buat semacam a kind of pertanyaan, a kind of reflective note di situ. Jadi mereka bisa mungkin apa ya, mungkin menjelaskan sedikit kesulitan mereka itu seperti apa. It's only hanya saran saya saja, mungkin Pak John atau Pak Soleman mungkin bisa menambahkan kalau memang perlu atau tidak. I think that's all from me, Cindy.
Terima kasih banyak, Ibu.
I'll give it back to Pak Man.
Iya, baik Bu. Thank you, Pak John. Still.
Pak Man, bisa saya tambah satu?
Oke.
Sebelum saya lupa, Cindy,
Ya,
jangan
Pak.
sampai lu juga malah lupa juga. Tadi yang diangkat Pak Soleh menyangkut jumlah soal, lalu dia bilang 15 itu, 15. Itu dari mana pergi datang, dia bilang angkanya 15. Bagaimana cara pertimbangannya apa? Tidak bisa cuma diangkat-angkat di karang-karang.
Paling tidak ada teori atau apa ya?
Jadi saran saya begini, sebelum saya lupa saya kasih tahu, memang nanti
Iya,
juga
Pak.
malah tidak tahu lagi. Itu jenis apa namanya itu, elliptical sentence itu berapa banyak yang you mau cari tahu. Ada berapa banyak jenis dan sub-jenis dan sub-jenisnya barangkali. Semua itu harus diuji. Semua itu harus dicari tahu. Semua itu harus dievaluasi. Dan setiap jenis atau malah lebih kecil lagi setiap subjenis, kalau memang sampai kepada subjenis, setiap subjenis itu harus diwakili oleh satu pertanyaan atau malah dua. Dari situlah kita tentukan jumlah soal, jangan cuma asal bunyi saja. Dengar
Ya
tidak?
Pak, dengar Pak.
You punya teori tentang elliptical sentence, perhatikan kembali. Itu dasar penting itu toh. Bab 2 itu dasar penting. Dari
Ya,
situ
Pak.
lihat setiap jenis atau sub-subjenis barangkali. Nah, setiap sub-subjenis itu perlu ada soal yang mewakili satu atau dua. Begitu. Sehingga nanti kan you katakan oke, mereka punya yang ini grammatical, ini ungrammatical, difficulties ada di sini, itu kan semua elliptical sentence, scope-nya cukup luas. Jangan cuma beberapa saja terus lu bilang nanti tidak valid hasilnya. Oke?
Ya Pak.
Jadi itu yang
Oke
penting.
Pak.
Nanti kita bicara lebih lanjut. Sebelum saya lupa, saya kasih warning saja begini untuk nanti kita bicara lebih lanjut. Oke, thanks a lot Pak Soleh. I give it back.
Terima kasih Pak.
Okay, thank you, Pak. Students, Cindy's friends, do you have comments? Irene, Mia Ulu, Liz Daniati, Realina. Any comment? Okay, if there is no comment, then I think it's enough. I think the seminar, proposal seminar of Cindy, we hope that you pay attention to all the inputs. One is the numbering system that you use, like using bullets like this instead of using alphabetical numbering, and also usual numbers like that, like this. Okay. Also, if possible, what semester are you now, Cindy? Semester
8 semester.
8 semester. Okay. I think if you are going to use Google Form as your instrument, to distribute your instrument, it will not take time. Only how to make sure that all the subjects understand how to use the Google Form. You maybe before you send them, ask them whether they can operate it. Click next or back, or maybe how to choose the correct answers, and then how to send the result. Maybe that technical information is also important.
Yes, sir.
So that you can get the data that you require. Also, because Ibu Elis reminded about the sample selection. So semester 1, semester 2 students, how many students, and why you choose? How many students you will choose, and how you will collect them? How will you select them is very important to know, and also to mention in your proposal. Yeah. I didn't notice. I didn't see it. I think it's very important how you select the sample out of the whole population. Your population is all the students at the second semester. Semester 2 atau semester berapa?
Semester 2, Pak.
Okay, and then how you select them? Okay, using whose theory of sampling? Okay, I think that's all. There is no more comment from Pak John and Elis, and also from your colleagues. Rosina is going to ask question.
No, sir.
No, no
Thank
question.
you.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right. So I hope we'll meet again in Cindy's result seminar, proposal result seminar, or research result seminar. and then in her examination. So there will be 2 more activities that we have to face with Cindy, seminar hasil dan ujian. Semoga tidak makan waktu melakukan pengambilan data dan juga mengerjakan bab 45-nya.
Baik,
Oke.
Pak. Terima kasih banyak, Pak.
Do your best. Good luck.
Sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your participation and attention.
Host,
You
Pak
again.
Soleh, hostnya kasih kembali ke saya dulu.
Oke. Sabar ya.
Oke.
Let me stop the sharing first. I'll also stop the recording. Thank you very much.